So before I get started, I wanted to say one more time that I do this to get the information out there. I don't do this to be entertaining. So some of my videos they may seem repetitive, okay? To me I'm not a fake character, okay? I'm here putting this information out. We get these trending stories, right? And there's a reason why we get these trending stories, okay? I help expose the patterns, the timing of these stories. I look at the major details going on with the story, and I show you connections and how it connects to other trending stories that are going on at the same time. I look at the birthdays. I look at the dates that in question, what happened with the trending story. I look at that date when that happened. I compare it with the birthday. I look at the day of the year. I use this gematrinator calculator here, which don't get confused by the word gematria. Okay, this is the alphabet forwards. You see how there's numerical values. If there's any normal people out there, okay, don't this isn't hard, okay? You see that with the alphabet and then the alphabet in reverse and then reduction applied both ways. So if there's any questions on that, you can ask me in the comment section. So that's what I do over on this channel, all right? So again, I'm not here to be flashy, I'm not here to be entertaining. If you want to laugh at me if I say something funny from time to time, I don't go into it thinking that, right? So I mean, if you're interested on me showing you this and it clicking in your brain like, wow, we live in a manufactured world, some kind of fake world here. If you're interested in that, you should be, okay? We've been deceived, but then you came to the right place, all right? And and then maybe you can laugh at me from time to time. Maybe you like my voice or whatever. Okay, so Atlanta rapper Silentó gets 30 years after pleading guilty to killing his cousin. This guy had the song Whip Nae Nae. No talent at all with the song, but I remember it. It could be catchy. You hear it and then you walk around maybe catching yourself um, reenacting it or whatever. It's like watch me whip, now watch me nae nae, now watch me whip, whip, now watch me nae nae, right? It's like hardly a rap song. And Silento, so is that like Spanish for silent? I'm just kind of doing this on the fly. Less talk and more action. Okay, that's why he picked it. But it sounds like silent, doesn't it? How do you say silent in Spanish?
In Spanish, you
Oh,
would
okay.
say
Silenciosa.
in its feminine
Okay.
form and
All right. So that wasn't right. Okay. So less talk and more action. Okay. So let's play this video that goes along with the story over here. And then we'll go back to Canva.
Silentó's murder case has come to an end. The rapper, whose real name is Ricky Lamar Hawk, has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. DeKalb County District Attorney Sherry Boston confirms in a statement to the Associated Press June 11th that Silentó was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and other charges in the 2021 fatal shooting of his cousin, Frederick Rooks. Per the AP, the 27-year-old pleaded guilty and mentally ill to the manslaughter charge, as well as aggravated assault, possessing a gun while committing a crime, and concealing the death of another. However, the murder charge against him was dropped as part of his plea agreement. 4 years prior to his sentencing, Silentó was arrested in connection to the death of his cousin, with an incident report obtained by E! News at the time revealing Rooks had been found lying in the street of an Atlanta suburb in the early hours of January 21, 2021. According to the report, Rooks sustained gunshot wounds to his face and leg and was pronounced dead at the scene, with police later obtaining ring video footage from nearby homes showing several vehicles fleeing the shooting, one of which was a white BMW that belonged to Silentó. Authorities then confirmed to the AP that 10 days after the rapper was taken into custody, he finally confessed to the killing.
All right, so let's show his cousin. Maybe I'll attempt to play a little bit of that song as well. Here's his cousin over here on the right, Frederick Rooks the third or whatever. And there's some other pictures right there. You see the cousin right there. You see him with the long hair. Okay, and I may repeat some of that information also. Let me go to the article, because sometimes the volume doesn't pick up on those videos too. So the 27-year-old rapper, whose legal name, let's see if any of you catch on to this before I get into it. Legal name Richard Lamar Hawk, was sentenced to 30 years in prison. DeKalb County District Attorney Sherry Boston said in a statement. Hawk also pleaded guilty to aggravated assault, possessing a gun while committing a crime, and concealing the death of another. A murder charge was dropped as part of the plea agreement. DeKalb County Police found Frederick Rooks III shot in the leg and face in the early morning hours of January 21st in the year 21 outside a home in a suburban area near Decatur. Police said the found 10 bullet casings near Rook's body, and security video from a nearby home showed a white BMW SUV speeding away shortly after the gunshots. So they say 10 bullet casings. Did they say 10 days later he confessed? A family member of Rooks told police that Silentó had picked up Rooks in a white BMW SUV, and GPS data and other cameras put the vehicle at the site of the shooting. And yeah, they say that right here. Look. He confessed about 10 days after he was arrested, 10 bullet casings, and this was on the 21st in the year 21 as well. Okay, so watch me. Okay, watch me whip Nae Nae. That's what that song is called. You know, and they said he said mental illness. He struggled with depression. They say, I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of like motive, or I guess maybe they're just going with the mental illness thing. He said he tried to kill himself in 2020. And they're bringing up some other arrests he had, one for domestic violence as well. And assault with a deadly weapon, it looks like. Okay, and that's all we get here. So they're going with the mental health illness. So maybe I could probably put that in the calculator and just see if that lands anywhere as we go forward. Probably mental health, maybe probably mental illness would be the one we want to keep in there. But maybe we look at this in a bit. Look at how you get 47 with mental illness, 47 with mental health, 74 with mental health illness. That's just kind of interesting right there. So we may come back and look at this, but for now, let's go because this is an amazing breakdown, okay? And again, I'm going to show y'all how this is just a script. I believe this is just pumped out of a computer by the language and by the numbers. Look at this right here. Look at that. Silento's got 94 and 31, like guilty. Even his name, Ricky, 30, and he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. You see that? So right away, that's like, oh wow, that's definitely more than interesting. 94 and 31 in the same ciphers, he's guilty. And then Ricky equals 30, sentenced 30 years. Let's play, I want to play that song just so you can hear it a little bit. Let me kind of set it up here. Again, there's kind of like no talent to this song. You got to get through this ad here. Right? It may sound familiar already. Let me just fast forward it a little bit. It doesn't sound as good with the speed down to 0.75 or whatever, but here, let me change it real quick. Right? Sounds familiar, right? And there's hardly any rap in this video. It's just, we had a lot of music like this come out, if you can call it music. A lot of stuff like this come out around the same time, and maybe to this day even. Look, 11 million likes, 1.9 billion views. Okay, so hopefully you could hear that a little bit, and hopefully I don't get any kind of copyright that I got to deal with. But back over here now. Look, his middle name's even Lamar, and Kendrick Lamar is very trendy, isn't he? His last name is Hawk. He's out of Atlanta, where the Atlanta Hawks play basketball. You've got to be kidding me, right? Now, any normies out there, and no offense when I say normies, but when you see that, it's like, oh my God, right? Isn't it? Isn't that wild? Does this thing over here, does that got to stay there? Or can that be removed? I guess that purple thing just stays there. It wasn't there in the past. I'll have to try to figure out a way to get rid of that. Are you kidding me? Ricky Lamar Hawk out of Atlanta, where the Atlanta Hawks play basketball in the NBA. And the middle name Lamar, as Kendrick Lamar has been like one of the most, if not the most, one of the most talked about rappers over the last year. Look at how Ricky also equals 69 like Atlanta. See that right there? Reverse with the alphabet and ordinal ABC 1, 2, 3, 69. That's a big number right now as well. Don't forget Diddy is born in 69. This is his cousin. Look at how they sync up by the name. Frederick Rooks III, 103. Richard Lamar Hawk, 103. No, I blocked it right there. Check that out. These are facts too, okay? You see his name right there. And not only do I break down the actual details that go with the story, but I show you these other connections with other things on the world stage, like I just did with Kendrick Lamar. and the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, that Hawk thing, that's over the top, right? And Ricky, there may be a Boys in the Hood connection also. Because with this name, they'll have like Ricky kind of in parentheses within his name. They say that's his real name, you see right there. But then they put it in some cases like it's a nickname or something. So there may be some kind of connection also with Boys in the Hood. Because remember Ricky from that movie, who was shot, right? That's interesting. Damn, that's interesting, isn't it? Ricky, so Boys in the Hood. You see Boys in the Hood right here. I think that's Ricky on the left right there, if I'm not mistaken, with that green shirt. When was the release date? That had Ice Cube was in there. Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay, that released July 2nd. Now let's put Ricky in here now, because that is interesting. Look right there, Ricky Baker. Right here. Let me see. Let me do this. What happened to Ricky in Boys in the Hood?
According to en.wikipedia.org. However, the Bloods catch up to Ricky and he is fatally shot.
So that's an amazing connection right there. That's an amazing connection because that was Ricky. Oh, they're comparing it to like Menace to Society, it looks like right there. But right here. So that's very interesting. And there's the red right there. I know like the Atlanta Hawks got the red. That's definitely a nice connection right there. So they're saying that one of his vehicle was spotted taking off from the scene. So I guess that's going to connect him to that murder or whatever. But I didn't see anything in here where they're talking about the bullet casings. The murder charge dropped. I guess kind of just because he was there, I guess. Again, they don't give us too much information here. They just want to focus on his mental illness and all of that. But let's go back over here. Let me open this back up. So that's a nice Boys in the Hood connection there. Look, he's got the same birthday as Caitlin Clark. I want you to know that. And watch how that comes in to play here. Same birthday as Caitlin Clark, very heavily trending. And it's basketball related. Remember, this guy's last name is Hawk, like Atlanta Hawks. Dudes, look, you also get another birthday with the guy. You see that? This says January 23rd right there. Okay, so we get two birthdays. We get January 22, January 23, and then the murder was on January 21. You see that? So it was either one day before Silento's birthday or 2 days before Silento's birthday. Now I mentioned Kendrick Lamar, the Atlanta Hawks. He goes by Ricky, like Rick Ross. And notice even with Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick Lamar. So Ricky Lamar Hawk, Rick Ross. Look how Rick Ross and J. Cole's birthday is just days after Silentó. January 28th. So this guy's whole name is broken down here. You even get Duckworth, Duck with Kendrick, Duck and Hawk with Silentó. Isn't that wild? Ricky Lamar Hawk, hometown where the Atlanta Hawks play. Same birthday as Caitlin Clark, basketball player. And you know what I just caught? But let me finish this real quick. And his birthday right before Rick Ross, and his name's Ricky. He's got the middle name Lamar like Kendrick. Kendrick has Rick in there. You get Duck, Hawk, J. Cole with the same birthday as Rick Ross. I've went over that before. They were all involved in this whole situation with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. But I just caught this before I hit the button to record. Caitlin Clark played for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Okay? And this guy, and they got the same birthday, and this guy's last name is Hawk. Look at that right there. You see, any normal people that stumble across my channel, you can say that you think I'm losing it or whatever. That's undeniable, man. Same birthday as Caitlin Clark. She played for the Hawkeyes. Dude's last name is Hawk. Okay, you cannot deny that. And then the Boys in the Hood connection with Ricky. You cannot deny that. You cannot deny that one bit. I mean, you could if you wanted to. And remember, they got Ricky right there in parentheses. Because I guess kind of short for Richard or whatever. But the fact they put that in parentheses makes you think of the Boys in the Hood. With that Ricky getting murdered, right? And Rick Ross is born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, like Caitlin Clark. What do you think about that? I didn't seek out this information and try all hard. It just popped up as I'm doing the breakdown. I'm like, what? 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 Even Young Thug's got that middle name Lamar. He's also from Atlanta. Check that out. Okay, so pleading guilty to killing his cousin. DeMarcus Cousins is trending right now. Another basketball player. I need a drink of my coffee. Look at that. Cousins got 36 like Lamar. I don't know about y'all, but DeMarcus Cousins is all over my YouTube right now. He's all over like my Facebook when I scroll because he got into it with the fan, it looks like here 2 days ago when I put this together 2 days ago. You see that? And also he was playing street basketball. DeMarcus Cousins confronts a random for talking bad about him and calling him the B word. You see that? Trending. And now the basketball connection with Caitlin Clark, the Atlanta Hawks. This guy's last name's Hawk. They say this guy, he pleads guilty to killing his cousin. DeMarcus Cousins trending, basketball player. I don't know if DeMarcus Cousins played for the Hawks at one point. What teams did DeMarcus Cousins play for? Current team, United States of America. Kings, Pelicans, Warriors, Rockets. I think that's all that we see right there, I guess. If there's more, maybe there's more, but these are the four that it's pulling up, okay? I would have said, man, if you played for the Atlanta Hawks, that would be wild, wouldn't it? That's amazing. Okay, so you get that cousin connection there. And let's go over here so we can wrap this up. There's Frederick Rooks right there. Look, Frederick's got Rick in the name. Like Ricky Hawk. Like Rick Ross. Check that out. Does this guy kind of look like Gunplay? The rapper who was with Rick Ross? Maybe not. Not really. He's just got long hair, kind of like him. That's interesting. So yeah, you get Rick and Rooks. Rick, Rook, Kendrick Lamar, Ricky Hawk. All right, so I told you, I mean, you can't deny that stuff. I can't tell you the guy's last name's Hawk with a straight face. And how the hell do I get this record a loom thing off? That's annoying. Can I move that damn thing or what? I'm going to have to look into that. So let's play this other video now. So we can go over here to play the video. I think I have another video here. Yeah, I do. Let's play this.
Attorneys tell us that lawsuit is being filed in Gwinnett County, which is where the general contractor of that gangway is based.
And now to this, rapper Silentó will spend the next 30 years in prison after entering a plea on charges connected to the murder of his cousin. The rapper, whose real name is Ricky Hawk, he's best known for the hit song Watch Me Whip. Well, Hawk pleaded guilty but mentally ill to voluntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, and other charges. The victim here, Frederick Rooks III, he was shot and killed in 2021 in DeKalb County in the Panthersville area around 3 a.m. Hawk was arrested days after that shooting. Police say he confessed.
So that's wild. And again, I'm not here to entertain, okay? I'm not here to entertain. I want you to like soak up the information. Oh, and I put that arrow there. You see Ricky Hawk has 193 in the reverse cipher. 193, Ricky Hawk. Oh, was it his full name? Let me see. Richard Hawk, my bad. So Richard Hawk's got 193, and that's the 44th prime number, and kill equals 44 right there. So, you know, let me know in the comments. Good thumbnail. What's going on here, man? So, like, what is going on here? Are people getting eliminated by the numbers? Is it other people committing these acts, and then these people, they just go down for it, and there's nothing they can do about it? By the numbers? Is this as a result of the success he had with his song? Are these events not happening? And this guy is still around and they're just playing a script? They're following a script and a story? I think it would be extra creepy if this stuff was going down for real, by the numbers, you know? And do they make things like this happen in our lives? You know, I mentioned normal people coming across this work, but I'm a normal person. I just happen to know this code. But do things like this, are there minuscule tiny things going on throughout our lives? Are things being put in front of us to trigger things to happen based on things connected to us, based on our name? Like me speaking right now, is that going to trigger something in my algorithm? Is my phone listening to me? And then things are going to be sent my way based on what I'm saying. if that makes sense. I don't know, but I do know that this code is undeniable how all of this hits like that. With all of the connections with Caitlin Clark, Rick Ross, Kendrick Lamar, Young Thug, Boys in the Hood with Ricky, the same birthday as Caitlin Clark, this guy, the last name Hawk, out of Atlanta where the Atlanta Hawks play. I mean, you don't have to be a decoder to catch that. You don't have to be a decoder to catch that. His cousin gets killed. DeMarcus Cousins is trending, a basketball player. I mean, on top of Ricky equaling 30 and he gets 30 years, Silentó 94 and 31 like guilty, and it's another S. Like, S Silentó, Sean Combs trending, Shannon Sharp trending with the SA, right? S. Stephen A. Smith trending with Sirius, SSS. So there's something going on with the language here. Streaming service, SS. So it's just wild. Atlanta rapper Silentó gets 30 years after pleading guilty to killing his cousin. Right? He's, there was other cars, I guess. One of his cars took off as well. He said mental illness, a murder charge got dropped or whatever. We save all of the details for the normal channels out there. That's the breakdown here. Shout out to y'all. I mean, there's always more, but I am going to leave it at that. Until next time.